Thank you. Thank you. And it's wonderful to be here. And I have to do a lot of shout outs, but I want to shout out Hiram, who's in the audience, who put out the call for submissions. That was the impetus to write enough because it was featured first on Poetry X Hunger. And yeah, it's just wonderful. The first piece, and my poems mainly have to do with winter, the winter suite. So I'm going to start with Sometimes a Poem. Sometimes the poem arrives, a flutter of wings unseen against cheek, waking from dream. Sometimes a storm. Sometimes the poem darkens my mind, a susurration of starlings, a waterfall, cascade. At times the poem is an owl intrigued, orange eyes aglow, the wonder of night. Sometimes northern lights, a bowl full of stars, a V across my consciousness, honking information, mapless destination. A quiet trail through the woods, soft rain on my face. The poem sometimes is a lone bird, unseen, summit of lodge pole, pining for a mate, a smooth stone found at the bottom of a lake. And that time the poem was tender-hued, a mallard waddling riverbank, a gaggle of yellow-brown chicks wading in her wake. The moon ripe and full just over the line where sea meets infinity. A spring poem came as waxwing once, rowan berries captured in beak, profusion of jasmine and lilac. Summer poem pelicans caught on northbound breeze, crossing 100 miles a day. And that poem I wish I could forget. Baby bird, speckled breast, askew on unforgiving ground. So many poems written in hues of deepest blue. A poem like a hummingbird hovering, firefly flitting, ephemeral spark. A poem without words, oh sweet newborn sleep. And then this midwinter poem, chickadee flitting, bare branch tree, come to rest upon upcurved palm, searching for some seed. Thank you. The second poem is called Winter Reverie. The sky heavy around our shoulders today, a cloak of unfallen snow, and now warm in my home, I watch flecks fill the globe. Tomorrow, the track of deer will have been filled, crisscross of coyote, spindly sign of crow. Tonight, under down, we can dream that first dream, that nameless cold scent, that unbroken hush of first winter. The third one is called Solstice Song, and it was actually turned into a song by a friend and writer and musician here in Calgary, Jim Jackson. Solstice Song. I'm not going to sing it, but bury me in ashes, bury me in bone, bury me in mountain land 1,000 miles from home. Bury me the depth of my height, the width of my wonderment and want. Toss yellowed roses onto a fresh dug mound. Let each poet stand and utter one single syllable, unspeakable truth. For I have lived my seasons each, daffodil, iris, spring, splashed in summer lake, worn crown of buttercup, carpet, auburn leaves under slate storm sky. And now I come into my winter, each day shorter, each night deeper, and the air stings my cheek, burns my lung. Within walls of wood and stone do I retreat, to fire's glow, pull covers close. Winter, an invitation to dream, possibility of night. Memories, reveries, reflections, ruminations, circle smaller, encompassing my flesh, my soul. Lodged within me deep seeds of yesteryear, child, student, au pair girl, wife, teacher, mother, poet, lover. This winter, though, is not to be my last. my trunk not withered, my roots run deep in rich brown ground, my branches still bear fruits, and the secret of bee in blossom whispers yet within. And in this moment, when the southern third basks in golden lights, now is our star-filled night. Snow reflecting moon's blue glow, muted hush, beside embers do I seek refuge. And soon, oh soon, the axis will tilt as we journey closer to the glorious face of the sun. But until that moment comes, bury me in ashes, bury me in bone, bury me in mountain land 1,000 miles from home. The next one is called The Skating Party, and it was, thank you, it was in response to a call for a piece of art paired with poetry. So I basically took a navy blue velvet cloth and figured out how to glue sparkles onto it, and this is the poem. The Skating Party. Stars, shards of glass on a velvet dark cloth, thoughts crystallize as breath escapes lung. Engraved on the surface of pond, etchings of our unspoken desires. The crinkle and burst of logs on the hearth, a table round which we midnight sit, steam rising from chowder in hand-formed bowls, like the breath we left suspended at the edge of frozen pond. The next piece was in one of the Stroll of Poets anthologies, and it's called Winter Night Stroll. Sky deepening from pearl to mauve, sound muffled by clouds hanging low, the unspoken promise of snow. We pull on boots and tug down toques, mittens keep fingertips warm. We set off for a stroll in this country of night, away from city lights. There is only one moon, and she rules absolute, pulls back the edge of curtain of cloud, casting long shadows before us, blue onto dove. And this one I was playing with form a little bit. It's called Nighttime Deer. Snow reveals the path of deer across my moonlit lawn, winter's whispered secret. Winter's secret whispered beneath the moon, across my snowy lawn, the dreamy path of deer. The next one is a duplex poem, and if you've never heard one or read one, Jericho Brown, who's guest visiting in Calgary, he wrote the duplex, and it's basically couplets. This is very close to the ghazal, and the main difference between, or the main difference with this poem is there's the repetition and then there's a twisting of meaning. So it's called A Trail Leads Me Back. Oh, and if you don't know Muskoka, that word, it's a region north in central Ontario, I guess, north of Toronto, and it's kind of like cottage country or lake country. And there's a chair, a wooden chair. Some people call it Adirondack, and I think that's the American name, but I've heard it called the Muskoka chair. And I grew up in Toronto, so. A trail leads me back, sitting in a Muskoka chair, daylight fading into west, thousands of kilometers from that magnificent country. Thousands of kilometers, thousands of lakes, this country of rock and hill, erratica, glacier-fed, prairie grasses blowing. Prairie grasses, blowing winds that eat snow. Chinook, sundog, oriole encircling winter pale sky. Winter pale sky, a backdrop to giant spruce, poplar, hemlock, boughs glisten in winter hoar. In winter, hoar and lime glisten branches and boughs as frost paints glass. Frost paints glass. I exhale, my fingertips slowly tracing hills and ridges, flatlands, shield, inland sea, this trail leading me back to Muskoka. And if there's time, I would like to read a ghazal or a hazel. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Mansour can help. It's a Persian form, and it relies on the repetition at the end of each couplet. And I actually wrote this based on a prompt. I'm in that writing circle that Mensur was talking about. So this was in response to a weekly prompt, and it's on my screen here. Springtime ghazal. As snow recedes from lawn and shadows grow long, crocus prepares to blossom in delight. Hoarfrost disappears from branches and limbs as the crabapple sets to blossom in delight. The tall stalk of iris wrapped in secret in the dark, regal purple flowers wait to blossom in delight. Peonies unfurl tight fists under midsummer sun. How we yearn to watch these petals blossom in delight. You will return, my beloved, after this winter apart. Our kiss is an elixir, yearning blossoms in delight. Thank you very much.
Wonderful job, Josephine. I was thinking with your first couple poems, I was like, man, I just want an illustrated picture book because I'm just picturing everything that you wrote. The bowl full of stars, and how sometimes the poem is like an owl with orange eyes that glow. The unbroken hush of first winter, how winter is an invitation to dream. Like I could just picture it all. Um, and yeah, I was picturing the Muskoka chair too. I haven't been there, but I am from Ontario, so I was like, ah, yes, the cottage territory. That was really awesome. Thank you so much, Josephine. All right.